Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Talks to Go. Happy New Year!
Happy New Year! Our very first episode in the year 20. I was about to say 2525, the old Zager and Evans
Please don't
classic.
do that.
I'm not going to sing it. Believe me, I won't. But 2025.
Damn.
Wow.
Damn. 2025.
I like the sound of it,
I
though.
do too.
It's got a nice
ring
to it.
I
It's
agree.
well shaped.
I agree.
You know?
No, I'm excited for the new year. I always like New Year's. I feel like 2024 flew by. It went by.
They always do.
They
And
always
believe
do.
me, trust me, the older you
I know.
get, the
older
faster
you get, the
they
faster
go by.
it goes. Trust me, I know.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's been a while since it's been just the two of us.
Just the two of us.
And we've had a lot of special guest interviews come out at the end of last year. And if you are new to our podcast channel, whatever it may be,
And we hope you are.
we
and
hope
if
you are.
you aren't, we
and if you're returning, we appreciate you sticking with us.
we love your ears.
Yes.
Yep.
If you don't know, we have launched our YouTube channel. And there's I think there's 4 episodes up there so far. And throughout 2025, we're going to start rolling out the videos of all of our past special guest interviews. So make sure to stay tuned for that. And,
Please
subscribe.
Yes.
Please subscribe to our YouTube channel. And that's where you'll get all of our video content. And obviously, if you want to know when a new episode is dropping, be sure to follow us on our Instagram and TikTok, being that TikTok still sticks with us, which I think it will. So yeah, with that being said, we're gonna, obviously we want to look forward to the new year because I don't really like going back in the past, but because we didn't have like a closeout of 2024, we're gonna do a teeny weeny 2024 recap, and we're going to say our favorite sports moment, our favorite TV show or movie. I think I have a TV show and movie that I'd like to shout out, and our favorite pop culture moment. So which one do you want to do first?
Let's take the favorite sports moment.
Okay. Let's take the favorite sports moment.
You want to go first?
You can go first.
Okay. Mine happened towards the end of the year.
Okay.
And it wasn't something that we saw on TV. It wasn't in a movie. It was something that we as a family experienced personally.
Yep. I know what you're going to say.
And that was, we had the good fortune, and I really mean this, we had the good fortune of not only going to a Jets game. I don't know if that's a good fortune.
I didn't think that's what you were going to say.
Yeah, going to it, but somebody your mom works with is a wife of one of the Jets assistant coaches.
Shout out to Rachel.
Shout out to Rachel. And through her good graces, we were permitted to go on the field pregame.
Yeah.
You literally got within, I'm going to say within
Inches.
10 yards of Aaron Rodgers.
No. Inches.
Inches. Okay, inches.
Yeah.
10 inches of Aaron Rodgers. Got a very cool video out of that.
Yeah.
It was freezing.
It was so
I will
cold.
say that.
It was so cold.
It was really, really cold, but it was it was freezing, but it was a cool experience.
But it was really cool.
To be on the field, to see these guys, particularly the linemen.
They're huge.
You don't have an appreciation as to how big these men are.
Mm-hmm.
Not only big, but fast. To see a guy, the quickness of a 300-plus pound man,
it's so insane.
is something to really marvel at. It's really
so
is.
insane. I always think about with the receivers specifically how quick after the ball is what do you call it, like set? Snapped? Yeah, snapped. How quickly after the ball is snapped, how quick they get out to where they need to be. And not only that, but like get out there, turn around, catch the ball. Like it happens within seconds. And it's so insane.
Look, even though the Jets had a lousy season, and everybody says that, and it's true, you still marvel.
Even they'd say it's true, I think.
Yeah, you still marvel at the athletic ability of these players.
Oh, totally.
It's just incredible.
Totally.
You know, you get an appreciation as to why they are
the best.
Some
of the best.
You know, a very small percentage of people on this planet can do what they do.
Yeah, no, it's insane. I thought, even though that was obviously a really cool and recent moment, I thought you were going to say going to Indian Wells back in March.
Yeah, I like that too.
But that was a different experience.
Yeah, different
you know?
experience.
This
yeah.
we got to like go on the field and.
Well, if you want to
all
stick
that.
with the tennis theme, the other cool tennis moment I thought we had was when we went to the Open and we sat not in Arthur Ashe but in Louis Armstrong Stadium, and again we're fortunate. I'm
Yeah.
going to say that fortunate to have seats pretty close to the court,
Yep.
to the point where we could see the facial expressions and the reactions of the players.
Yep.
That was a really fascinating perspective.
Yeah, no, it was really cool.
Yeah.
It was really cool.
Yeah.
Okay, should I say my
Go
favorite?
for it. Yeah.
Okay, my favorite sports moment happened more towards the beginning of the year, and that was Lando Norris winning his first ever Grand Prix. It's something that he's been waiting for, the fans have been waiting for. It was really sweet and special, and it happened in Miami, and it brought me to tears. I know it brought a lot of people to tears. It was just such a cool moment. You know, when there's something like just really awesome that happens in sports, and obviously like you don't know these people personally, but you feel like you've been following them on such a long journey, and when something so cool happens in their sports career, like a monumental win or something like that, you really like feel proud of them. Like that's how I felt. Like I felt proud of him. I was like so happy for him and the team and his family, because I know it's something he's been working so hard
Especially,
towards.
and I know I think I'm going to botch the name again, so help me if I do. Max Verstappen.
Verstappen. Yeah.
Had been winning every single
Yeah, but
F1
not-
race.
but
He was
not
like
this year.
he was like the Yankees of old of F1,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And for Lando to overcome that had to make it even sweeter.
Yeah.
Right?
I mean, it wasn't even just, I mean, obviously his first win was amazing, but McLaren had such a successful 2024. Obviously as a team, they won the Constructors' Championship, and him and Oscar had a ton of wins in 2024, which was really, really cool to see. So not just that one win, but a ton of wins last year.
And in that regard, and we're going to speak about some of our guests as we do our annual wrap-up here, but we want to thank Gunther Steiner,
Yep.
an F1 racing legend.
Yeah, we interviewed someone in F1. So
All right,
if you're
and-
an F1 fan,
Yeah, and his daughter, Greta.
yeah. So if you're an F1
so-
fan, be sure to check that
Yeah,
out.
check out the episode.
That one's on our YouTube, so you
Yep.
can go watch that one,
Yeah.
not just listen to it.
Yep.
All right, should we move into TV show and movie?
Go for it.
Okay, so I have a TV show and a movie.
Okay.
My favorite TV show of the year was Nobody Wants This.
I knew you were going to go with that.
Yeah, was Nobody Wants This.
Yep.
It was so good. We zipped through it, and it was just such a feel-good show. And obviously, us being Jews and it being about, centering around.
We're Jewish?
What? Are we?
Are we?
Huh? Oh, I don't think we
New
are.
news.
We barely
if I can steal from another podcast. New news.
We barely celebrated Hanukkah this year.
We did it all in one night.
Yeah, we did it in one night.
Yeah.
Does not matter why.
Right.
But yeah, it was cool to see a show, like a really fun show, being celebrated centered around Judaism, and I really loved it. And I'm so excited for season 2. And I want to bring up a point that people have been talking about on the internet, and it got brought up during the Golden Globes, which is Richard Gadd. I think that's his name. He is the star of the TV show Baby Reindeer.
Okay.
About his stalker and everything, and it's based on his life and whatever. And in his Golden Globe speech, he was like, I'm so thankful that they said yes to my story, because I feel like there's no dark stories that are being made and no one wants to hear about dark stories and blah, 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 blah. And I'm going to shout out Liz Woods on Instagram. She brought up the point of saying no dark stories being made. I feel like the only thing that we ever watch are like dark stories and things that like aren't really lighthearted and whatever. Like it's really hard to find things to watch these days that make you feel good, that are lighthearted, that bring you joy like throughout the entire show and don't center around such dark topics. Like not everything has to be so dark all the time. And I feel like Nobody Wants This brought such levity to the TV shows that we had been watching throughout the year. So make more things like this, please. And I am so excited to see season 2.
Okay.
And then as for my movie, I'm pretty sure this came out in 2024. I'm just going to look it up really quickly so I don't make a fool of myself, but it's a movie that I think I've watched now like a dozen times. And you know what? I'm not embarrassed to say that I did. Yeah, it came out in March of last year. It was The Idea of You with Anne Hathaway and Nicholas Galitzine.
Oh, I thought you were going somewhere else.
Oh, Wicked?
No.
Oh, what?
The Eras Tour movie.
That came out in 2023.
Oh, sorry. Okay. That's why you didn't go there.
No,
All right.
that's why I didn't go there.
All right.
No, The Idea of You came out
Okay.
in 2024 in March. And to say I was obsessed with that movie is an understatement. I love Nicholas Galitzine, love Anne Hathaway, loved the movie, have watched it a dozen times. It was so good. And I'm not ashamed to say that I've watched it that many times. And it's just another like feel good romance. And that's what I live for. So on over to you, Dad.
Okay. My favorite TV show or movie, it was a documentary about one of my all-time favorite songs. I know this is going to be a little bit corny.
Yep.
Right? It was the making of We Are the World. I found it really, really interesting.
Yeah.
And now, in retrospect, when you think about it, obviously one of the key figures in the movie and on the song was Bob Dylan. And, of course, the year wrapped up with Timothée Chalamet's incredible performance as Dylan in A Complete Unknown.
Yep.
We both loved it, right?
Yep.
It would be fair
Yeah.
to say we really,
Yeah, it was
really,
really
really
good.
enjoyed the
It was really
film.
good.
So we think you should go see it if you haven't already. But yeah, I really look. I'm a big fan of all behind the scenes stuff.
I think we both are.
Yeah, and if you're a BTS junkie, this is a documentary you have to
And
see.
not BTS, the K-pop band.
Yeah,
behind the scenes.
no, behind the scenes. If you're a BTS junkie, this is a film you have to see. It's extremely well done, well produced. Even if you're not a big fan of the song, just to see all of these artists come together, how
Like
they
the
and
superstars
how
of
they
that era.
how they produced it was really
It was nuts.
yeah,
It was
really
so good.
informative, really really cool. So that was my number one TV show and
Slash
or
movie.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
And lastly, our favorite pop culture moment of 2024.
I've got two.
Okay.
One was a live performance, and another one is recorded.
Okay.
The live one, and you're going to be surprised,
Why do I feel like we have the same one?
was when we saw Taylor
Oh,
Swift
okay.
at Wembley Stadium
Okay.
in London.
Yep.
Look, it's probably the first, could be the last time I will ever go to a concert and be one among 92,000 people.
Hey, you never know.
Good
But
chance.
not
Good-
likely.
For me,
Yeah.
more than for you.
Yeah.
Okay. But it was, I tell people, people ask, how was the concert? I said, not a concert. It is, or it was
An
a
experience.
spectacle.
Yeah, an
It's a
experience.
spectacle. It's a true music lover's experience.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And look, obviously, she's the biggest star on the planet right now.
Mm-hmm.
But there are some detractors, as there's always going to be. But, man, I got to tell you, she gives you your money's worth.
Correct.
She really does. And for those detractors, hey, she's extremely philanthropic.
Mm-hmm.
So you can hate as much as you want on Taylor.
You can hate as much as you want, and I won't care what
But,
you say.
I think your hate, personally, I think is misplaced. So that was one of my, that was
100%.
my live performance
Okay.
pop culture moment.
Okay.
My recorded one
Okay.
is something that happened late in the year that I just happened to catch. I don't know. I think I caught it on YouTube somehow, or maybe I saw a clip on Instagram, and that was, it's another kind of behind the scenes musical thing. And it is a performance of the song from Man of La Mancha, The Impossible Dream. And it's centered around Aaron Lazar, who's a Broadway star, who unfortunately has been diagnosed with ALS. And all of these Broadway performers came together to perform this song. And what always blows me away is that most people do not know, with the exception of the big Broadway stars, do not know a lot of these Broadway people.
Yeah.
Right? But the talent, just the sheer talent.
The Broadway community is strong.
You know, there's a question that we have asked some of our guests throughout the year, and that is, if you could have any talent that you don't currently have, if you were gifted with a talent, what one talent would you like to have? And for me, without question, it's one thing.
Singing?
The ability to sing
But
and
you
sing.
can.
No. The ability to sing really well.
Yeah.
Really well.
Yeah.
I marvel at some of these people.
Yeah.
I can't begin to tell you how many times I have watched this video. I'm serious.
You become find a video and then you become
I know at
entranced.
one point we were doing Obsessions of the Week.
Yeah.
This clearly at one point during 2024 would have been one of my Obsessions of the Week.
Yeah.
Again, I encourage you just to appreciate the sheer talent of these people. Watch the making of The Impossible Dream. Again, it's all these people coming to support Aaron Lazar. Mm-hmm. It's beautiful, just simply beautiful.
Lovely.
Yeah.
Lovely. Well,
yeah.
how do I follow that?
You can follow it, sure.
Okay, so my pop culture moment is kind of similar to what you said before that, which is it revolves around the Eras Tour. It's when Travis went on stage at the Eras Tour at Wembley. I mean, iconic. I don't remember where I was when I saw that, but I think I was at camp. So I was working at a sleepaway camp because it was over the summer. And I remember going on TikTok and someone said, Travis Kelce is on stage right now with Taylor and he's performing on the Eras Tour. And I said, what? You're lying. Like, this must be AI or something false or whatever. And nope. You go on social media and you see that Travis has walked his little booty on stage and has joined Taylor at the Eras Tour. And it was so awesome to see, and love that he can just, they can be themselves in the relationship. And I'm obsessed. And that's like one of my biggest moments of 2024 is their relationship. It's just really beautiful to see how in love they are, and so many fun moments between the two of them. And also I want to give like another little shout out, because this revolves around Taylor, but just like the WAGs of 2024, like the women in sports have really made a name for themselves, whether that be, the athletes or the women who are married.
And of those of you not familiar with the acronym WAGs, it's Wives and Girlfriends of Athletes.
Yeah. But a lot of them have like stepped behind, you could say, quote unquote, the shadows of their boyfriends or husbands, and have really made brands and names for themselves. And it's so cool to see that, because there's so many amazing women who are in sports and are creating those names for themselves and creating businesses and brands with their name. And that's just been really awesome to see, grow throughout 2024. So yeah, that's our little roundup of some of our favorites, and a little bit of housekeeping news about us. And for us is that on January 4th of this past year, we celebrated our 2-year anniversary of Talks to Go.
Turn 2.
We turned 2.
And I don't want to say terrible 2.
No, not the terrible 2.
No, it's a good 2.
It's a good 2.
Let me ask you a question.
Yep.
2 years ago, on January 4th, 2023, when we launched Talks to Go, did you think we would make it this far?
I don't want to say like no, but yeah, there were some days that were harder than others, and we worked really hard to get here. So obviously it's not going to be smooth sailing, especially when you're working with family. Things never are, but there's been more pros than cons, I would say.
Absolutely.
And
Look,
so, yes,
I've told other people, and I think I've told you, but I'll say it publicly. For me to be able to work with you in this context has been a blast. It really has.
Yep.
I hope you feel the same. If you don't, then sorry. What can I say?
I do.
What can I say? No, but it's really been a lot of fun, and we want to keep it going.
Yeah.
Definitely.
On to 3.
Yeah.
Okay, and to bring a little bit of sad news and unfortunate news is that was this last year in 2024 or 2023?
That we've interviewed Della?
Yeah.
I think we interviewed Della around Christmas of 2023.
Yep. So if you don't know, we interview a lot of fathers and daughters, but we wanted to start a new interview segment, where we interview daughters whose fathers have passed away. And we have called those interviews our Remembering Dad interviews. And my dad came across this woman on social media. Her name is Della Larson.
Right.
And she was diagnosed with ALS. And
She was diagnosed with ALS. I'm going to say, and forgive me, Larson family, if I get this wrong, I think it was about a year and a half to 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, around the Christmas break, she passed away.
She lost her
battle to ALS.
And Della was a valiant warrior.
She's
she
an amazing
really
woman.
was amazing. And as Jill said, she was our very first Remembering Dad guest.
And she had some awesome stories. Obviously, go check that episode out. I'll post a link in our bio so you can go check it out and listen to it. But such an amazing episode, such an amazing woman.
Yeah, we send our condolences to her husband, Ron, her family, her friends, and all of the people who followed Della.
Yeah. The ALS community is honestly one of the strongest communities I've seen, and I feel like I can say now we are a part of.
Yep.
The people are so supportive. I've never seen such a supportive group of people in one community, and it's really awesome to see. Obviously, it is such a terrible and horrible disease, and to see the people who have been diagnosed, to see them so strong.
And I know we didn't include it as part of our annual wrap-up, but if we had the hope of the year, and I know I'm going now into 2025, my hope, without question, my number one hope is that a cure is found for ALS.
Correct.
And for those people who are battling it, and we're very close to one of them, and that's Brooke Eby.
Yep. Shout out to Brooke.
Right. And Brooke was recently featured on the front page of the New York Times.
So freaking cool.
The article, I think, was published last Thursday, if I remember correctly.
Yep.
Again, if you haven't read this, this is must read. And I mean that sincerely.
Yeah.
Go online, find it. Brooke Eby, E-B-Y.
Well, her social handle is Limp Bruise Kit, which is like Limp Bizkit. Her handle is at Limp Bruise Kit.
Both Brooke and her dad, Cliff, have become good friends of the podcast. In fact, they are our only repeat guests so far, and we're hoping this summer they will become three-peat. We'd love to have them on. And Cliff, I can't wait to eat another half smoke with you. But anyway, good friends of the podcast. Brooke, we are behind you 1,000%.
Yep.
And like I said,
she was featured in the New York Times, which is so cool.
I'm praying for a cure.
Yeah. And if it wasn't clear, we've had Brooke on multiple times, and again, I will post this on our stories and whatnot, the links to her episodes, but you can also look us up, Spotify, Apple, wherever you get your podcasts. The videos of those episodes will hopefully come out within the next month or so, and I'll be sure to get those up on our YouTube channel.
Yeah, Brooke is an amazing young woman.
Yeah.
She really is.
And shout out to Cliff.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then you wanted to bring up
I am. For those of you who are watching us on YouTube, and if you're not, I'll tell you.
Or on social.
Yeah, or on social. I am rocking the Yogi sweatshirt. Purchased at the Yogi Berra Museum and Learning Center in beautiful Little Falls, New Jersey. Yogi Berra Museum is incorporated into Yogi Berra Stadium, which was my summer home for 14 seasons as I was the PA announcer for your New Jersey Jackals. So Lindsay Berra,
shout out.
Larry Berra,
shout out to you.
This is an homage to you. And of course, Lindsay, your grandfather, Larry, your dad, the one, the only, the great Yogi Berra.
And that was our most recent episode.
Right.
So if you haven't checked out that, I know we keep plugging ourselves, but that's the whole
Why
point.
not?
That's the
Why
whole
not?
point. We have to keep plugging ourselves. That episode is on YouTube. It is our most recent episode on YouTube. And again, if you don't want to look at our beautiful faces on YouTube, you can listen to us on Spotify and Apple and wherever you get your podcasts.
Yes.
So with that,
Yeah.
let's look into 2025. I'm sick of 2024.
Let's turn the page.
Let's turn the page and move forward.
Okay.
Let's talk about a hobby or an interest, something that we want to pick up and follow through for the new year.
Okay.
I have mine.
Go.
Okay, so mine is watercoloring. Let me give like a little small backstory. We went for Christmas and New Year's, we went on vacation to California, and we did half of our trip in Palm Springs and we did half of our trip in the Laguna Beach, Orange County area. And we found this really cute, my mom and I, well, actually all of us, we found this really cute store in town in downtown Laguna called Picnic Stationery. That's what it's called.
And
Picnic
it's just
Stationery.
like, just like your
Picnic,
P-I-C-N-I-C.
It's an independent stationery store, I believe. And they were selling this brand called Emily. She's an artist. Her name is Emily Lex Studios. She has an Instagram handle, and they were selling these watercolor booklets where they have a step-by-step on one side of how you should go about coloring this watercolor, and then on the other side they have a blank canvas with like an outline of, it's kind of like a coloring book but for watercolor. And we bought some watercolor paints, and I started painting and immediately became addicted, and that will be my new hobby of 2025. Like, I am already obsessed. I feel like I'm slowly but surely becoming a watercolor influencer. I've gotten so many, like, not so many, I've gotten like 4 or 5, but like I'm
okay, so
I'm
many
so
is relative.
Popular. I've gotten, like, in terms of my following, I've gotten a bunch of DMs and a few comments saying, where did you get this? Where did you get this? I need to do this. I need to find this. If you want to do it and find it, it's Emily Lex, L-E-X Studios. She has a website where she sells her workbooks. I don't know if she sells them in any other stores around the country, but it's been so fun to do and so calming and relaxing, and the perfectionist in me wants it to be perfect, but it's been a good way for me to get out of that perfectionist mentality and just like let go and let it happen. So that is what I will be doing for the year.
Okay. And
on to you.
Mine is not a new one. It's a continuation of an old one.
Okay.
And that is playwriting.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I have, for those of you who don't know, in the past, I've written some one-act plays. In fact, 5 of them have been produced in festivals in New York City. Mm-hmm. And I'm rather proud of that. It's fun. And I wrote a play some time ago, or I would say about a year ago, that I did submit to a local festival in New Jersey. And I'm glad that it wasn't accepted. I really am.
Mm-hmm. Because it wasn't ready.
Yeah, quite
Needed
frankly,
time.
it needs more work.
Mm-hmm.
And I've had these ideas rumbling and marinating in my brain,
mm-hmm. and they got to get on the page.
Yeah, and it's just a matter of me finding the inspiration to sit down and work on it.
Well, you know what?
And that is my goal for 2025, to flesh out this play.
And you know what? I don't know if I mentioned this last year, but like, I'm looking to write a novel, and I've already started it, and we can have our own little writer's block writing sessions together. I need to sit down and make time to write, because I really do want this to come to fruition. Same, I think, goes for you. So
yeah, but I know I need that. Like when I'm walking our dog PJ, I'm thinking about it, and I'm saying, why? But I got to do more of that. I got to actually then sit down, open up my laptop, and just start cranking on it. And that's what I'm going to do.
A little hack, and a lot of singer-songwriters do this. Like, I know Charlie Puth does this. I know Taylor Swift does this. When an idea pops in their head and they don't want to forget it, they'll go into either their notes app mm-hmm. or the voice memo app, and they'll record themselves, or they'll write it down then and there, so they don't forget their idea or lose their inspiration. And honestly, I should do that, because I always like think of scene ideas in my head for my novel. So Maybe you should start doing that.
Yeah, in fact, it's the one play that has never been produced, and then there's another that was produced under the name Thank Godfrey.
Yep.
That I want to do some additional work on. So yeah. So
we'll
like I
have our
said, not a
little-
new one, but a continuation of an old hobby that I really, really enjoyed.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna make that happen in this year.
Well, we'll have our own little writers sit-down workshops
Okay.
together because
like
I
it.
need to do the same.
I like it.
All right, so into this podcast for the year, let's put out a guest manifestation. We did that our first year, we did that our second year, we're on to the third.
Okay, so here's what I want to establish for you, okay, in terms of the guest manifestation. All right?
Well, I have like a guess,
Okay.
like a pair.
All right, but here's one thing that I'm very cognizant of. This episode that we're recording right now, I
Yeah.
believe will be
Oh,
our
yeah.
79th.
No, I think we're on our 80th or 81st.
79th or 80th,
Or
okay?
81st, whatever.
That means that our 100th
episode.
should drop somewhere, I'm figuring, late spring, early summer.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the 100th episode deserves
Someone special.
a megastar.
Yeah.
Right?
So
Now, I'm not necessarily saying it's got to be in entertainment or sports,
it can be in anything.
but we're talking not just A, but A plus lister.
Plus.
All right? So when I'm manifesting a guest,
We want someone cool for you guys. We want someone cool for us.
that's what I'm aiming for.
Yeah.
So that's the backdrop to my guest manifestation. But I'll let you have yours first.
No, that's
Okay.
good. That's it. Wait, I do have one, but that's
Okay.
good. If you have any ideas or people that you want us to see interview, any fathers and daughters, please drop it in the comments on our social page or DM us or email us.
And by the way, we are not shy about reaching out to some of the biggest stars.
Literally think big, think impossible.
Stars on the planet. Does that make sense?
Yes.
But I think you guys know what I mean. We're not at all shy about doing that.
Correct.
I mean, I could rattle off names that we've tried to reach out to already that we've either received a no, and that's okay.
And that's okay.
That's okay. Or we haven't received a reply at all. And you know what? That's okay too. But we're gonna shoot.
No, it's not okay.
We're gonna shoot for we are shooting for the stars for episode number 100.
Yeah.
So you want to go for yours?
Sure. So
Okay.
this kind of bounces off of where we actually just went on vacation, which is Orange County, California. So I feel like you can sort of guess maybe where I'm going with this. And who I'm manifesting is Peter Gallagher and his daughter, Catherine Gallagher.
Who we've already reached out to in the past.
Who we've reached out to, but I am still putting it out there
Okay.
because he is one of the best, not just like dads, obviously in real
Right.
life, but he's an amazing TV dad to Seth Cohen. Shout out Chris McCoy, shout out Adam Brody. But yeah, I would just love to have them on. I know Catherine is about to be on Broadway, and also Peter is on Broadway. So
Right.
they obviously share that connection of acting, and I'd love to have them on and pick their brains and talk with them. So that is who I am putting out into the universe.
Okay, I've got a few. Okay.
Don't make it the same ones.
All right. Okay. Well, I haven't talked about them on the podcast. I'm not going to talk.
Switch it up.
Okay. I'm not going to talk about the obvious one.
You're obvious.
Okay. But two others that I've had in mind. One is Bill Clinton and Chelsea.
Yeah.
Another one is Barack Obama and is it Malia and Sasha?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Names
Malia
right?
and Sasha. Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it'd be pretty cool. We could get those for the 100th. Oh, I will tell a quick little anecdote. Last night, my wife dragged me to a book signing in the frigid cold. It wasn't really even a book signing because the books were pre-signed. It was really
Spoiler alert.
It was really a photo op.
Like a meet and greet.
And that was with the esteemed Mel Robbins, who I've learned apparently has the number one best-selling self-help book.
And she's got her own podcast.
The Let Them Theory. She's got her own podcast, which apparently is
incredible. Has
number
a ton
one.
of listeners.
If she's not number one,
Joe Rogan,
then she's 1 and 2. Apparently, that kind of thing. Well, anyway, I had a game plan, and the reason why I went to this photo op was, and I knew I was literally going to have seconds, and I mean 5 seconds at most, and that's what it turned out to be. So what I did was I brought the roster of guests that we've had thus far, our Talks to Go podcast business card.
Yep.
I clipped one to the other, and there wasn't even enough time for me to even give a proper 15-second elevator pitch. It was more like a 3-second pitch.
Well, here's your pitch.
Mel grabbed the sheet from me, handed it to her assistant, okay? And I followed it up with a message to her on her website yesterday, immediately after the photo op. So we're keeping our fingers crossed. You know, I think Mel's dad is alive.
Here's looking at you, Mel.
Yeah. So Mel, if you or one of the people on your team are listening to this, please be our guest.
Please.
Okay.
There we go.
All right.
And lastly,
Yeah.
what do we want to see happen this year for us? What are we manifesting for this podcast? I know, obviously, I just want to see continual
I want to
growth.
see it continue, but
And like my biggest one is to interview, some awesome people. Not that like we haven't. We've interviewed awesome people, but just continue to interview awesome people.
yeah.
Yeah.
Selfishly, look, I'd like to dream big. I'd like to hope that by the end of the year, we get enough recognition and listeners and followers or whatever you want to call them, that a podcast network decides to pick us up.
Hello. Here's looking at you.
So podcast network
Of the
executives,
universe.
if you are listening, and I hope you are, think about it.
Think about it.
We
That's all.
here.
We're,
Think about this, Jill.
We're here.
We could be yours.
Oh, yay.
Yeah. And with that, you want to put a bow on this, baby?
I'm trying to think if there's anything else. I feel like we've kind of, wrapped up 2024, brought in 2025.
We will be dropping, by the way, another guest interview next week.
Yeah, we do have one prepared.
Yeah,
For the beginning of January.
It's a pretty cool. I will say this without naming names. If you're into entertainment,
Yep.
and you're into sports, especially and specifically the NFL, you will enjoy this episode.
Yeah.
That's all I'll say.
And also, if you happened to be watching the NFL on Netflix on Christmas, you would have seen one of our other special guests. Actually, I think one of our first special guests.
I think they were our very first.
I think
He was our very first.
but not the first episode we ever dropped.
Correct.
Shout out to Ian Eagle.
Yep.
He and his son Noah Eagle. Obviously, we interviewed his daughter Erin, but they did an amazing job on Christmas, and we're back to back, play by play, right?
Yeah, back to back.
Back to back.
Yeah, they were.
For both Super Bowl games, which is an awesome thing.
Not Super Bowl.
No, did I say Super Bowl?
Yeah, not Super Bowl.
Back
Not yet.
to back
Not yet.
regular season
games.
games, which is still awesome.
right.
They're absolutely killing it in the sports game.
We love the Eagles.
We love
Eagles
the Eagles.
fly.
Fly, Eagles, fly.
Eagles fly.
Fly, Eagles, fly. So we've had some pretty cool people on.
And we will continue to have some pretty cool people. So please continue to listen.
Continue to listen. Continue to support. Tell your friends. Tell your family. Tell your
your
followers. Tell your pets. So yeah.
Let's put a bow on this
let's
baby.
put a bow on the baby. And we'll talk to you guys soon. Bye.
See ya.